Hello all, welcome to the next video of computer networking. In the last video, we have learned regarding the advantages and disadvantages of networking, the various switching in networking, and in this video, we'll be learning about some terminologies that are being used in computer networking. So these are some data communication technologies used. In this video, we'll be discussing about channels, bandwidth, data transfer rate, etc. So, what do you mean by channels? Channels are physical medium like cables over which the information is exchanged between the sender as well as the receiver. So, when the transmission channel uh, transmits the analog signals, they are known as the analog channel, or if it transmits digital signals, they are known as digital channel. In normal network terminology, the path over which the data is sent or received is known as the data channel. This data channel may be a tangible medium like copper wire cables or broadcast medium like radio waves. So, next terminology is bandwidth. Bandwidth is used in two different contexts, and it is having two different meanings at two different contexts. There are two different measuring values. Actually, bandwidth is a measuring value. So the data transfer rates are measured in bandwidth. That is, bandwidth is either measured in hertz or in bits per second. If it is in hertz, it's a range of frequencies contained in a composite signal. It's a range of frequency. That is, when you tune into one frequency, one type of data you get. If you change to another frequency, you get another type of data. So it's a range of the frequencies contained in the composite signal, or the range of frequency a channel can pass. It is measured as hertz, kilohertz, megahertz, etc. So bandwidth in bits per second, if you say in bits per second, it's the number of bits or the digital bits, binary value, digits per second that a channel, link or a network can transmit. It is measured as bits per second. Kbps means kilobits per second, megabits per second, etc. Now coming to the data transfer rate. When you transmit a data, it has to be measurable, right? So for measuring it, measuring the data transfer rate, we use these terminologies. That is, it's a number of data elements or binary digits sent in 1 second. The unit is BPS, that is bits per second. And when it comes to more data, it becomes kilobits per second, megabits per second, gigabits per second, and terabits per second. Now coming to the transmission media, through which transmission media we are sending or receiving the data. Transmission media can be defined as a communication channel that carries the information from the sender to the receiver. It can be of two types, that is a wired media and the wireless media. Wired media means there should be a physical hardware thing to connect between the sender as well as the receiver. Whereas wireless media means it is no need of any physical wiring connections. It is wireless, just like Wi-Fi and all you're using. So wired media are three things, that is twisted pair cables are used, coaxial cables are used, fiber optical cables are used. Wireless media means the radio waves, microwaves, infrared and satellite communications. We'll see them in detail. The twisted pair cable is used for creating small computer network. It contains 4 twisted pair converged in an outer shield. See, just like in the picture, you can see that the wires are actually twisted among themselves, and each wires are actually color coded also. And an RJ45 connector is used to connect this cable to a computer. You might have seen in the network cables at the back a plastic transparent jack is there. It's known as RJ45. So you can see these things are actually embedded in that connector, and then you enter you press that jack in the port. So it is available in various formats such as CAT1, CAT2, CAT3 and CAT4, CAT5, CAT6, etc. It is also known as the Ethernet cable. Again, it is of two types, that is unshielded as well as shielded twisted pair. So unshielded means you will not be having any outer covering for that, but in shielded one you will be having some outer covering. You can see the difference between these two pictures. Now coming to the coaxial cable, coaxial cables are the cables that are used by most of the cable TV operators to connect the cable channels to your system, to your TV or television. You can see that it is another type of wires that are coming. You can see a middle in the picture. You can see a middle copper wire is there. Again, some plastic covering is there. Again, one layer of copper is there. Again, black plastic is coated over it. So this is another type of transmission media, wired media, coaxial cable. Most of the cable TV companies use this for data transmission. Coming to the fiber optic cables, again you might have seen fiber optics in so many decorative items and all. Those are thin glass like structures, and this can conduct light. So many thin strands of these glass strands are connected together, and these are also color coded, and it is known as a fiber optical cables. It can transmit the data through the light signals over long distances. It is capable of transmitting messages modulated onto light waves. Modulated means that they are connected in, they are embedded in the light waves. Actually, the data is being set in the light waves, and the light waves are sent. So the speed of the data transmission is much faster than the other things. Now these are the comparison between the three wired medias, three types, that is twisted pair, coaxial and optical fiber cable. You have the data transfer range up to how much length it can transfer. Interference is a disturbance that happens during the transmission. That means whether some other data is being embedded in the data actually we have to send, and the cost, etc. So now coming to the wireless communication networks. Wireless communication networks always use electromagnetic waves for communication. Based on their frequencies, electromagnetic waves are categorized into various categories. There are radio waves, microwaves, infrared radiations, visible light, ultraviolet, etc. And from this, for wireless communication, we use radio waves, microwaves, and infrared rays. Microwave rays are actually high frequency waves that can be used to transmit the data wirelessly over long distance. You might have seen the mobile towers where the receivers or transmitters for this microwaves are placed. Since these microwave waves are cannot pass through the solid surfaces, they are kept at a high range or higher distance from the ground. It consists of a transmitter, receiver, and atmosphere. It is used to transmit signals such as mobile phone calls, etc. So they are kept at a higher distance from the ground, such that no disturbance, it cannot pass through the solid surface. At the higher height, at that much height, there will not be any hard solid disturbance. Now coming to the radio waves, they are used to transmit television and radio programs. Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, etc. have become a common word today, and they also use radio waves, and the peculiarity is that it can penetrate through solid objects. Coming to infrared waves, they are used for short range communication, approximately 2 to 5-10 meters. You can see the example of you are using the remote controls in a room, and interference is very less in infrared waves. That means when it happens at a shorter distance, very shorter distance. So it's a line of sight transmission, so information passed to one device is not leaked to another device. So next is satellite, which is used for very long distance wireless communication. How does the transmission happens here is the data from Earth is being sent to the satellite, and from the satellite again it is given to the sender. It given to the receiver. So this is actually very costly, and also it require legal permissions, because that it is being sent to the satellite and all. So satellite transmission of course is expensive, and it is having some legal issues also. So that's all for this video. Thank you.